I mean, I'm not hurting anybody because it's my body. And besides, he loves me. Well, I know he likes me a lot. He takes me out, he buys me things, and he talks to me nice. Now that I'm doing my own thing, everybody want to give me advice. But you all didn't care before. It was shut up, Tamika. I'm on the phone. Turn on the music, Tamika. I'm sleeping. Oh, that's nice, Tamika. But I'm hanging out with my own friends and worry about my own friends, and I'm too busy to worry about you right now. So you really didn't hear me? When I told you all the names they called me and all the times they jumped me after school, as long as I was doing my chores, bringing home the grades, you didn't care. Once I snuck through your personal papers to find my birth certificate to see if I'm really your daughter. Unfortunately, I am. But you don't care. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to be me. The same way you told Grandma you was trying to be your own woman. Most of these girls been doing it for a while. It's how you keep a man. Yeah, who you are is who you with, right? So I know what it's like to eat lobster, stay in nice hotels, and see live concerts. I don't want to have a baby, but I'm not afraid to have one. It's what makes you a woman, right? Yeah, mothers get much respect. Right, Mom?
Yeah.
P-O-L-I-T-I-S. I know you're looking for a drive-by right now. You're living in the backseat right now. You're looking for a brand new sight now. Change the world with the words we write down. All I see is politics, and when the streets meet politics, it ain't like we all of it. Get money, get power, pay the rest of the development, smarter kids. So when the street meet politics, watch the street beat politics. Take the room, so we all of this. Get on, get out, get up, put your flip, this corruption, kid.
Innocent children getting pounded. We forgot the little kids and I tell us they get shot.
impact checklist. I ain't interested in political correctness. Pale faces, rather the redskins, reckless. Rip straight from my roots and rape our heritage. Immigrants in our home, more legal than heroin. No employment for our homeless. Veterans overseas, turning refugees into terrorists. What was terrifying is I love being American. Damn.
Politics! Hey! Politics! Hey! Hey! Politics! Politics! Everybody just clap, clap, clap your hands. Everybody, clap your hands. Come on, clap, clap, clap your hands. Everybody, clap your hands. Come on, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, do that dance. Now, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, do that dance. Uh-oh, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, do that dance. Dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, who are we? I say I am B-A-B-A-C-T. What? I am B-A-B-A-C-T. What? I am B-A-B-A-C-T. What? I am B-A-B-A-C-T. What? If you hear the words we say, this right here, radio play, all we hear, sex drugs money, they don't care, all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us, wanna see in politics, and when the street meet politics, we all have it, get money, get power, get arrested from development, smart kids, and when the street meet politics, watch the street meet politics, making sure we all of this, get all, get power, get justice, to flip this corruption, yeah. I know you're looking for a job out right now, you living in the past beat right now, you living with a brand new type now, change the world with the words we politics.
What is impact?
It's not a game,
And why is it not a game?
because what we do now matters forever.
Because what?
Because what we do now matters forever.
And how long is forever?
Forever and ever and ever.
The I stands for.
Inspiration, motivation, preparation, activism,
C.
commitment,
T.
teamwork.
And our credo is.
We are youth activists who view the creative arts and leadership training as a way to develop ourselves and change the world in a positive way. We believe that we must be the message that we bring through hard work, focus, discipline, unity, and the principles of SOS. Safe space, outstanding effort, and service to our family, friends, and community.
If you didn't see the opening, that is the indefatigable Impact Repertory Theater, and I am proud to have one of the founders of Impact and some of the teachers and the alumni. I have Jamal Joseph. I have
Carlson Terrence Taylor.
you know, I'm old. And Dietrich Bolton. Sheila calls you Candy, but
Yep.
that's that would be unprofessional. God bless you guys. I followed you for like forever. You were one of the founders. Now tell me the process of getting because you got together with Vosa Edwards.
Vosa Rivers.
Vosa Rivers. See, I told you I'm old. Vosa Rivers, and there's one more person I think on your website that is listed as founder.
So Vosa Rivers, my wife Joyce Joseph, Alice Arlen, Raymond Johnson, and Courtney Bennett, and we were founded in 1998, and Harlem was in the midst of the crack epidemic.
Right.
Buildings were crumbling. Police profiling and brutality was increasing. Giuliani was the mayor. He had cut arts programs and after-school programs, and we wanted to do something in our community. So as artist activists, we knew the value of arts and education. We knew what it had meant in our own lives. I grew up as a young member of the Black Panther Party, but I was surrounded by a vibrant black arts movement.
Right.
So, you know, you go to a Panther meeting and, you know, it's mentored by people like Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mom,
Right.
and Lumumba Shakur, Daruba Ben Wahad, and then you leave and you go to places like the East Wind in Harlem, or you go to National Black Theater or New Lafayette Theater, and you hear spoken word and music and dance and drama reflecting the community and reflecting the struggle.
Right.
Vosa was executive producer of New Heritage Theater, which was founded in 1964 by Roger Furman, that did that same work. So we got together, and with no money and without permission, and that came that came because I tried to go someplace else and start an arts program and create a branch of an arts program downtown, uptown, and their board, which was white men, said no, we're not going to expand uptown. And I sat home and I was down in the dumps. I seldom get depressed. My wife said, how did the Panthers start their breakfast program?
Right.
And I was like, Joyce, if I talk about the Panthers right now, I'll get more depressed. She says, no, just tell me about the breakfast program.
Right.
And I said, we went to churches and community centers and asked for space. We went to stores in the community and asked for food and put up flyers and telling the kids, and we started, and she said, so what's wrong here?
Right.
So that model of self-sustenance, right, and self-affirmation is how Impact got started in 1998.
Wow.
With 9 kids in the basement of a community center, menacing townhouse. What I'm real proud of is that we've created a culture, not just a program. It is a culture of leadership. It is a culture of activism. And it is a culture of art that matters, art that reflects that. And we've had young people that have grown up in the culture of Impact, will go into college, become accomplished artistic professionals in their own right, and are now back running the program.
Right.
Carlton Taylor is our artistic director, and Deatrice, who's also alum, is our managing director.
Seemed like I remember you as a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it all together, because I remember when I first, the first time I shot Impact was like, around that time. And I remember somebody I knew who was doing like work in the community, I forget her name. They were doing some sort of program on 127th Street, like right off 7th Avenue by the projects. And you were all little kids. And I shot that, I was like, okay, I'm coming. And I was like blown away. I was like, wow, look at these kids. I shot, I was telling Deatrice, I shot Impact when you guys opened the show at City Hall when C. Virginia Fields was borough president.
Yes.
And she did, I got to dig through my box and, you know, and scrounge out the archives. But I've been impressed with Impact, how intelligent and focused they are, not just the fact that they can perform, because we can come up with some people who can perform.
Right.
Yeah, so you know, we have, it's not just arts, right? We have a leadership training program and a boot camp that is run by our staff. Nicole Acey is also in the studio. She's our choreographer, and she's an alum of the program. Luther Isler, Jordan Isler, and Luther was little. But I'd like them to talk a little bit about the leadership training, because, well, we're trying to make a great leaders, artists, activists,
right?
Not just great performers, and that's a core of, I think, what makes us different around the social issues, and that training that they get in addition or complementary to the arts stuff.
I mean, I feel that young people nowadays are dealing with so much. Like, you know, so much that is different from when I was in school. And just from the day-to-day, the things that they face, it's important for us to first of all, take that stuff in and then say, how are we going to turn this around and how are we going to flip it? How are we going to tell our truth in a way that not only people will listen, but that they can grow from it? So on Saturdays, depending on what's going on in the group, we talk about current events, we talk about what's going on locally, but also internationally, like, you know, and finding the ways that these issues affect us. And then what are the ways that we want to talk about this? Well, what if this was your mother? What if this was your brother? What if it was like, you know, I remember one of the things that we spoke about was in Africa with the young kids and how they were mining for diamonds, or like, you know, or like coca plants, and like, you know, all of that stuff like that, and being young people and being forced to work in that way. Or I'm speaking about, you know, the students in South Africa who rose up against the government, who, you know, decided that they wanted to speak their own language, decided that it was important to hold on to their traditional values. And what would that mean if somebody were to come in to the United States and say, no, even though this is what you connect to, this is your heritage, this is the new way, and this is the way that we're going to do. How do we speak to that? How do we respond to that? And how do we make the world listen?
Right, and on top of that, like we said, leadership training, you can, like you said, you can get performers, they can be as talented, you know.
They don't even have to be talented anymore.
Right, very true. But we want to make sure that these young people are well-rounded.
Right.
It's about education. We make sure you should be able to ask any Impact member what college they're going to, not what school you want to, what are your dreams. No, these are facts. These are facts that we are implanting in them. I call it positive brainwashing, because if you guide them in that direction and make them know that this is what's coming up, this is what it's leading to, then it'll happen. You know, we make sure we have Impact Rep College Prep, which was founded by another alumni, Jordan Isler, where she takes them through the college prep process and FAFSA, picking out of school, going to college tours, and making sure that it all ends with education. You just can't go out there and be an artist. You have to be that message that you bring. Some of our alumni are actually home, who are at Howard University, and you know, I'm seeing grades, and I'm seeing 3.8s and 4.0s, and I'm like, that's the work.
Right.
You know, you are very talented. We are happy that you're artistic and you know how to express yourself, but you have to be an educated Black person in these times, or you will end up someplace that you do not want to be.
And once you empower the young people, they will actually come in with topics. Like, you know, they'll actually come in like, hey, well, you know, This Is America just came out. What do we feel about this? Like, you know, and there's other videos that are coming out around it and stuff like that. Is this appropriation? Like, you know, and they will challenge you in that way. And I love the fact that we have such forward thinkers in Impact, because it keeps us on our toes. It keeps us moving forward.
And critical thinking, right? It's real important. And in American education, especially in schools in our community, you may not get that until you go to college, if you're lucky enough to make it to college. If you get critical thinking. But we think that we build community, critical thinking, and consciousness is real important to us. We have dozens of Impact members now, alum, who have graduated college, and now, because we just celebrated our 20th anniversary, we can count a number of members who have their graduate degrees.
Right.
And we have 2 PhD candidates.
Right.
And they're working in medicine, they're working in business, they're working in education, they're working in social services. And this was our dream for the program, that you can be that artist activist and you can take what you learn in the arts, which is community, critical thinking, and how to be creative wherever you go, and create a shift wherever you go.
As Carlton said, the paradigm has changed so much. I mean, it's the same types of things, but it's far more high tech, far more nuanced, and far more in your face than it was when I was coming up. And with all of the computer and smartphones and instruments that we have at our disposal, we have been dumbed down to a degree that everything is happening to us and around us, and we are not aware of any of it. You certainly, as a Black Panther, bring a nuance to educating. You referred to college, but you live in a time where I had 2 young women who are from Guatemala who are taking sanctuary in churches in New York City. Certainly, I had no concept of that. Sanctuary was Hunchback of Notre Dame. These things are now part and parcel of your generation. Tell me about boot camp. Tell me about how you guys, was that built into your mission that you were going to bring a level of knowledge to the equation that even most colleges don't bring to the equation? Because you guys are smart like smart people ain't.
We knew that we wanted to combine 2 models that didn't traditionally go together, which is that rite of passage model and theater arts model. The boot camp was designed to create community so that we were making a tribe of artist activists, that it wasn't a star system, it wasn't about talent, that it was about coming in wanting to work together. So our audition process, it starts there, it's different. We do group auditions, and it's in what we call a safe space. Our corner principles are SOS. And instead of save our ships, as it meant during World War II, it means save ourselves through safe space, outstanding effort and service to our family, friends, and the community. So we have a group of kids and come in and we'll audition them together. Because what we're looking for is not who can really sing or dance the best. We're looking if they really want to be there, if they're willing to try, and if they can work in a group. We will take you. Because we know if you're there, you'll find your place.
That's right.
You'll find your talent, you'll find your role. Now, the boot camp process can last anywhere from 12 weeks to 16 or 18 weeks because you have to rise up as a group. You learn the history of your impact, community history, social awareness, communication skills. There's exercise, stretching, yoga, some physical stuff that you do, projects that you have to do as a group, a community service project, bonding exercises, so that, and as well as creative stuff, so that when you graduate, you're graduating as a group. And our graduations are symbolic of, in the village, when the young men would go away and get manhood training, and the young women would be taken by the women to get womanhood training. We actually have parents in the community, and the kids start to run down what they know, what they've memorized in terms of the principle and the history. And then we ask the village, do you accept them back to the village? We thank the parents and the grandparents and everyone for lending them to us. Do you accept them back to the village as members of Impact? And everyone goes, no, no. And we go, okay, you have to do more. You have to appease the village. Then they do the performance part. And then we ask the question again, do you accept it? And everybody goes, yes. And then they get those Impact shirts, which they've earned, right? They have to earn the right to wear that Impact shirt. And if you ask any Impact member, what does it cost to be an Impact? They'll tell you there's no charge, but it ain't free.
Ah, I like that. I like that. When I came to rehearsal, you had some idea, some scenario, and you had them thinking about it, write something down. That's actually what the shots were. Them responding to the challenge of you giving them a concept and having them expound on that concept. Where does stuff like that come from? Because that is very, very cutting edge, because it deals with logical thinking and how do you guys come up with your curriculum? Because that was kind of deep.
Well, I mean, first, all of the material that is performed by Impact is either written or inspired by the young people. And like we said, when you use the leadership training and talking about the way that these things affect us, we then break it down and try to get an understanding of what does this mean to you? You know, because you have 15, 16, 40 kids in a room, everybody has a different experience. You know, everybody has grown up in a different way, and it's all important because we're all human. And finding those moments where where we can connect, and not really starting in a group where we're all talking, where everybody can just jump onto whatever is the strongest voice in the room, but actually having people be separate. And what are your own thoughts? How do you feel about this? What is coming from the inside of you? And letting them know that it's important. And then being able to look at all of this stuff and say, oh wow, this is amazing. Oh, this is, and really connecting the dots in between all of those things. Our curriculum is based in a lot of theater of the oppressed. It's a mixed bag, and it's something that I took from Uncle Jamal, and he says it's like a toolbox. It's like an arts toolbox, and what we like to do is expose our kids to as many things as possible, and we're continually going out into the world and learning new things so that we can bring them back to the young people, so that when whatever situation that they get into, they have something in their toolbox that they can reach out, that they can reach back to, that is applicable for the moment. So, so we just give space for those things to happen. So whatever it is in activating yourself, whether it's, whether it's Meisner, knowing and doing, or, whether it's psychological gestures, whatever it is that helps you access the moment, because we're all different as individual as our imprint, it helps the work move forward.
Dietrich, how do you come up with these young people? Because a lot of private programs, charter programs, look for children that come from pristine circumstances. We want to know that your mother is a pillar of the community, and how do you decide who comes in and
if you are a young person and you're willing to try, and to experience new things, that's how we come up with the person. You just come to us. People get interested from performances. We perform at schools, community centers. We've performed in prisons, and we get different young people. They come up to us. They want to know about the program. Again, we let them know it's just not about the arts. You have to go through boot camp. You have to do some leadership training. You have to do some community service. And if they are willing to do all of those things and they want to try and get to know different people and try some new experiences, then that's how the students get into Impact. Like Big Brother said, we do a fishbowl audition process because we want to know how you work with others. We have some of the kids come to us, they're very shy, they don't want to speak. We have to get them out that box because we're preparing them for the world, just not this organization here. We're preparing them to go out and take over. We want to make sure that the generation that comes up after us to take over is well equipped. That's why we combine the activism with the arts, with the phrase that we coin artivism, and with these young artivists, we have to train them so we know what the world is going to look like in the future, because the things that are going on now in the government and how things are changing in schools, and we need to make sure that they're well equipped and they can handle themselves.
And what you talked about in terms of the elitism in education is something that hurts our community. That kind of testing, that kind of, competing for top-down, 100 kids competing for, 5 spaces in a particular school,
Right.
that lottery, and we miss the best of us.
Right.
When we look at, the leadership, in our community, when we know that Frederick Douglass, couldn't read or write
Right.
until he liberated himself, and he remains one of the foremost thinkers and leaders that were inspired by his word and his eloquence. When we know that Malcolm X, was illiterate when he went to prison and considered a throwaway, and he opened the dictionary and started the word aardvark and taught himself, and so no one would question that if Malcolm, that if Brother Malcolm had lived, what he would have become, and it's certainly a part of that would be a no-brainer that he could have been the president of a historical black college or university or Ivy League school, as brilliant as he was. But you had to look beyond that, and you have to not just look for the goal and shine that up, saying that what we have to do. The alchemy of liberation is taking that which people just think is a stone, or just think that something is worthless, and unlocking that inner potential. And it starts with letting young people knowing that they matter, in the words of Black Lives Matter,
Right.
or in the words of Sister Symbiola,
Right.
the Yale graduate student that got harassed for sleeping in a graduate dormitory for taking a nap on the couch because she was there.
Yes,
What she kept
yes,
saying
yes.
is, I deserve to be here.
Yes.
And so we let our young people know that they deserve to be here, and they're going to confirm that with their work. And that once you've worked your way into impact, that you can work your way into anything, that you can meet any challenge, and that wherever you go, you deserve to be there.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a couple of things that are all balled up in what you just said. We certainly live in a time where the government, white supremacy, is very confrontational in a number of ways towards us, more so than it's been since Malcolm and Martin was alive and the Panthers were young and active. It almost seems to be that white people can actually get a black person beaten or killed, irrespective of who that black person is or what their credentials are, simply by calling the police and say, I don't know who they are. And once that call is made, the result can be fatal.
It can absolutely be fatal. I mean, look, you know, one of our greatest scholars, American scholars, you know, Dr. Lewis Henry Gates, Skip Gates, gets arrested for trying to go into his own apartment. You know, people forget that little summit that President Obama had. So you walk, you know, in a community. Here he is near Harvard University. He walks. Look, I walk with that same concern when I'm outside the gates of Columbia University. I'm a full professor at Columbia University. I've been on faculty for 20 years in the graduate film school, and was chair of the film school, the first African American not only to be chair of the film school at Columbia University, the first African American chair within the School of the Arts. And yet, when I step outside the gates of Columbia University, I have to walk a little straighter. I have to be conscious. And if I see police walk by, despite you know, my position at Columbia University and my position in the community, I have to wonder, are they going to stop me?
Right.
Right?
Right.
My sons, who grew up in Harlem, we raised, my wife and I raised 3 children in Harlem. All of them were blessed to go to great schools. One went to Brown, 2 others went to Columbia. My sons have been stopped by the police just for walking while black. As a black man, you have that concern for your children, but especially for our boys, that when they go out, will they come back to their own communities, their own dorm rooms, their own places of worship, safe and in one piece. So part of what we have to do with the young people of Impact is let them know that they have to have their eyes open, conduct themselves in a certain way, what to do if these things come out. So along with that message of saying you have wings on your shoulder and can fly as high as you dream, you also have to know that you have a target on your back. That as you're flying high, someone may take a shot, and here's what you have to do in order to protect yourself and your community.
Black excellence can also be a point of resentment for the world at large. It used to be that we just told our kids to pull their pants up, but now that aggression comes to people going to school at Harvard whose pants are up and their books are. And not only are they not in the act of committing a crime, they have no intention of committing a crime. Their focus is on the future. How do you navigate that environment when you have young people who come from, like I said, less than pristine circumstance?
When we make sure that our kids are informed, that they know their rights, that they know in every situation what they need. Colin Kaepernick had a wonderful camp that we were able to take our kids to, where we had police officers, where they did workshops, where they talked about, you know, how is it that how is it that you present yourself, knowing what it is to do when you're confronted with these situations, so that they know, listen, this is the world that you're going out to. You know, despite everything that you've learned, despite, you know, where you want to go to school and all that stuff like that, when people see you, sometimes all they see is the surface. But it's up to you to be all that and then better, you know, and to be informed and to always walk. I teach the kids that, like, you are light and love. So every time you walk into a situation, positivity, you have the ability to change the atmosphere. You have the ability, if the situation is negative, it was positive when you walked into that situation. And by being informed and knowing the words to say and knowing those rights, you are able to walk past those things, because there's certain things that that we're just not supposed to click on. There's certain things that there are certain things that are a part of your fight, but there are certain things that are going to get in the way from your ultimate goal and your ultimate journey. And their journey is to be educated. Their journey is, as the leaders of today, to press forward into whatever their dreams are, whatever their goals are, and to not be stopped by what the world fears from them. We are light, and in every dark situation, we show up to be that light, period.
And we take it, and the exposure is not just what we teach, because as you can see, we have phenomenal leadership and you know, alumni leadership. People who grew up in the program, but our young people go to marches, demonstrations, workshops. They're active. If a young member has a health problem, we do workshops around that, and the kids become active. So they've done the juvenile diabetes walk, the sickle cell walk, the lupus walk, social justice walks, those kind of workshops. We've been to Washington, D.C. on the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. We participated in that. Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights workshop, which was brilliant, because not only was his panels about Know Your Rights, he had a health forum, he had an economic forum. You really came from that day full. So every opportunity we get the young people to go out into the world and to experience education, social justice, and activism is part of the Impact curriculum.
Jamal referred to leadership. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but you're all black. I say that to say that there is today, as we speak, an issue about integrating schools and whether or not blacks can achieve on a level equal to or greater than their white counterparts if their teachers are black and their circumstances is black. There has never been a discussion about balancing access to stuff, just whether or not there is room in white schools for black kids, that somehow just being in white schools is the determinant, as opposed to having access to the things that you need to achieve. There's a big discussion about the Museum of Art in Brooklyn. Their curator is a young white woman. She has credentials, certainly, but there does not, I mean, they're quick to say she's a PhD, you know. But there does not seem to be access to opportunity. There does not seem to be the same mechanism for us to teach, have the equipment that we need to compete and succeed and prosper. And you guys, like I said, are black. You're not supposed to be getting the results you have gotten because you sort of belligerently injected yourself into the discussion and made it work on a wing and a prayer. How do you explain it?
As we've had to do historically, as we need to continue to do, in the words of Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, and still I rise, right? And that comes from knowing your value and your self-worth, and knowing that we can't be defined by a country where institutionalized racism, as Imam Jalil H. Rap Brown said, where racism is as American as cherry pie. So we have to understand that that doesn't define us and that can't limit us. If we believe that, we'd still be in chains. And what we have to recognize is that the chains may have been taken off of our wrists and ankles, but that economically, politically, socially, mentally, they're still there.
Right.
And we have to fight that. We have to fight those kind of three faces of oppression that Dr. King talked about in one of his greatest speeches, if not the greatest speech, the one that he gave at Riverside Church, a year before he was assassinated, where he talked about poverty, racism, and war. And these are things that we have to consider together as we're fighting. And built into that racism is the economic imperative of capitalism, to keep the money in play, to make as much. Wealth has increased 1,000-fold, and yet people are going hungry. People are sleeping on the streets.
Right.
Poverty is growing. Homelessness is growing. Our young people have to be armed with that information, so when they enter these institutions of higher learning and they enter these fields, they know that I'm fighting a very sophisticated battle, right? That it's not just about I've made it because I'm black or like me because I'm black. It's much more than racial identity. It's understanding that it's about class, race, poverty, and war. And we have young artists, activists, warriors who are fighting sophisticated battles in that way. And that kind of education and armor is what leads to individual liberation, liberation for their generation, liberation for our communities.
Yeah. Well, he kind of just summed it up.
Yeah. Period.
Period. Yeah. Basically, I mean, there's a story that Uncle Jamal tells about testing, and it starts, like you said, it starts in the school when the citywide test and how the stories that they come up with, it's not relatable to African American children, and then they wonder why that sometimes the test scores are below average. That's because you're not making education relatable. You're not teaching them their history. You're not teaching them what's going on in their community, and that's where impact steps into play. Like I always tell, I went to Girls Choir of Harlem, and they made me a great singer, but I always say impact made me into the person that I am. They gave me the confidence and then the encouragement for me to step forward and do things that I would have never done. And that's what we're instilling in these young people. They are not their circumstance. Because of your background, that doesn't determine your future. If you grow up in foster care system, it doesn't matter. You can still go on to an Ivy League school if that's what you want to do. And you are not, restricted to where you came from.
Right.
And it doesn't just end with the performing arts. My sister, who went to this program, who went to the University of Maryland, College Park, got her degree in public health, went to John Hopkins on a full scholarship, and got her master's in epidemiology, is now advocating for seniors, making sure that these corporations that are getting subsidies are doing what they say that they're supposed to do as it pertains to the community, and looking at these contracts and breaking these things down. And even though she's a fantastic singer, the work that she's doing right now is important for how we're going to move forward.
And that's the outcomes that we look at when we see Yvette, when we see Adia Beckford, who is a physician's assistant. You see Stephanie Omo, who is an engineer. Phenomenal dancers, but they're doing things in their community to change it, to make it into a better place. And that's the outcome we want from these young people that we have here, because we're the outcome.
And that's how you break that cycle. And it does take that activism, it takes policy, it takes all of those things together. But how do you break that cycle of from playground to poverty and school to prisons? That kind of work in terms of them being the best advocates for themselves and the best leadership for themselves, because you understand that they, as young people, are our greatest natural resource. They are our vibranium.
Maybe we should start setting up the kids so that they can get ready, because we're gonna go to them. There's no way I can have Impact Repertory Theater in my studio and they don't perform. I might be going out on a limb, but it seems like you guys are really proud of what you do. There's
yes.
a lot of pride and satisfaction in what you do. That's.
Yeah, I think for all and Carlton and Dietrich, Nicole, all of us that they're accomplished artists in their own rights, right? And are brilliant at what they do as singers, as actors, and you know, Carlton has been in national touring companies. Dietrich does Shakespeare with the company. They can talk a little bit about that. What I do as an educator and what I do as a writer and director, what we have in common is that nothing gives us as much joy and satisfaction as the work that we do with the young people.
That's it.
But at the same token, so this gets us up in the morning, right, in terms of what we do. We speak every day about what's going on with Impact. But what keeps us up at night is the safety of our kids and the kids we're not getting to.
Right.
So we have to join in this work, right? Impact needs help and support to keep doing what it's doing. We also want to build relationships with folks around the country that like this model, that want to come and visit and see what we're doing, because we have to be on the front lines fighting for our young people.
That's it.
Now you have an impressive list of people that support Impact Rep. As a matter of fact, I gotta get you guys back because I can spend a couple of hours on you alone with all of the things you've written and done. In case you guys don't know it, Impact was up for an Oscar, and like everything, the things you do, there's a lot of pride and awareness in your material. It's not just like,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
so a lot of thought goes into what you're doing, every single thing you do. We're gonna get you guys can just come around, just walk that way around. Yeah. Excellent. You are so smart. Tell us about some of the people who contribute to Impact, because you get some support. People recognize.
We're very lucky to have a wonderful board. Our board chair is Susan Pinsner. Mary J. Moschiano is our director of development. Our supporters include people like my mentor, Harry Belafonte.
Right, I saw the picture. Yeah.
Nile Rodgers.
I've seen him before.
Nile Rodgers is Nile is a supporter and a board member. Reverend Michael Waldron, pastor of First.
Right, I love that brother. I love that brother.
Rosa Rivers, who is on the board and is the co-founder, and Lloyd Williams. President of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. So we have a tremendous board in leadership. We have a youth board that's made up of these young people and my children who are now college grads, Jendai and Jad Jamal serve on the board. So there is a great, kind of energy around Impact. And we're very fortunate with that support. But we're not as funded as some of the white
we got to work on that.
institutionalized big sexy programs.
We got to work on that. We got to work on that.
We're not. We're grassroots. We've been here for 20 years, but we need help keeping the roots watered and the soil fertile.
We need to support our own so that we can compete and succeed, because when the support is totally from the outside, the regulatory agreement gets a little watered down.
I'm Casey Thomas. I am 13 years old and I go to MS-118, and the college I'm going to go to is Yale.
My name is Jaden Riggin. I'm 13. I go to Success Academy, Harlem West, and I will be attending Juilliard.
My name is Denisha Macklin. I'm 14 years old. I attend BCSF, and I would like to attend Columbia University.
My name is Kailani Rivera. I am 13 years old. I go to Renaissance School of the Arts, and the college I will be attending is Howard.
I'm Jairus Padilla. I'm 20 years old. I attend the College of Staten Island for my Bachelor's of Science in Psychology.
Hi, my name is Nia Banks. I am 20 years old and I go to Howard University for a Bachelor in Fine Arts.
Hi, my name is Shirai Isler. I'm 19 years old and I also go to Howard University for my Bachelor's in Psychology.
My name is Yannick Buckley. I go to New Design Middle School. I'm 14 years old and I will attend Juilliard.
My name is Candace Visa. I go to Renaissance High School for Musical Theater and Technology, and I will be attending Columbia University.
My name is Tajay Showers. I'm 14 years old. I go to the High School of Fashion Industries, and I will be attending Harvard or Howard University.
My name is Alicia Hilaire. I'm 25 years old, and I'm out of college right now, but I will be attending the New School for Performing Arts.
If no one else, look inside yourself. Just reach up when it seems you had enough. Keep the faith, and you know when it's right. Just be strong, strong in love. Keep your hands reaching up for no one else. Look inside yourself. Just reach up when it seems you had enough. Keep the faith, and you know when it's right. Just be strong, strong in love. Keep your hands reaching up.
Time when I would break down and cry, but I knew that I could count on you, yeah. You gave me strength to get through. Change my mind, know I'm so brand new. I just wanna say thank you. You. And even though it's hard for me, I ain't gonna give up now. I'm gonna hold my head high because
If no one else, look inside yourself. Just reach up when it seems you had enough. Keep the faith, and you know when it's right. Just be strong, strong in love. Keep your hands reaching up. I've been at the end of my road. I've been in the eye of the storm. I've been lost without hope. I've been with the rich and the poor. To the stars and back. Walk through any door. On stage with impact.
Do another one. They still fighting with the machine.
Okay, politics on the top, acapella.
Politix. I know you're looking for a job by right now. You're living in a past feed right now. You're looking for a brand new site now. Change the world with the words we write down. All I see is politics. So when the streets meet politics, it ain't click. We all at risk. Get money, get power, get arrested for developing smarter kids. Politics. And when the streets meet politics, watch the street meet politics. Make it so we all exist. Get knowledge, get power, get justice, and flip this corruption, kid.
Time is critical. See beyond the visual.
What?
Being more than physical individuals, see the invisible lie. With a critical eye, one nation under God, we wear disguise. Don't wanna be recognized, wanna be wise. Wisdom of a nation that's 2 times homicidal. Got survivors and American idols, but I don't see activism in the order bios.
I do.
No politicians hate these divisives, they like puppets, dummies, and ventriloquists, not I. MPACT like Pinocchio. No shings on me, language colloquial. From the school of hard knocks at Pinocchio, spit them psychologists.
All up in your bronchioles.
Stand up, man up, pick your man up, get ready for a change, throw your hands up.
Politics on the streets, same as the world. You rather kill for dollar bills, destroying peace on earth. You rather build your clientele, tell the truth to deserve. You rather treat your oil like crack. The street works, we on yellow alert. But my mom sees right, change the sand, the same color as the sun lies dead. Is that really what oil is worth? Dead weight in my brother, while the government be thugging the world. We defend the propaganda while some get top billed. As the price of oil rises and their pockets get filled. Forget the innocent children getting bombed in the dark. And they forgot the little kids in the ghettos getting shot. On the block, Crips and blood, it's the same gang mentality. Let's get rid of these thugs now. We can't change the world with the song,
But as we change the world, watch the world sing along. Come on, all I see is politics. On the street meet politics. It ain't safe, we all at risk. Get money, get power, get arrested for developing smarter kids. And when the street meet politics, watch the street meet politics. Make it move so we all exist. Get
feeding your family if you from where I'm from.
I know you understand me.
Politics got my stomach growled, doing foul things late night when I'm out trying to find me a fiend. Now what I look like? Especially when the crack in the gun says
Stash in my man's house.
I'm looking at my father like he's not a real man. Like they feel me being broke was a part of the plan. Ain't no justice in this world for us.
It's just us.
When the revolution come, we recruiting street soldiers, so don't get in between.
Wow.
I'm something like a general going against the war in the machine. Black Panther makes a thug passion, ready for war. Call me the notorious hip-hop Shakur. Ready to die while I'm rhyming the force, but all eyes on me every time that I talk.
I never leave the government alone, my truth into it all wearing hoodies that are bulletproof.
What?
Every bullet in my hood is proof. They want us begging for handcuffs. I got my hands up, don't shoot. Hands up like I'm praying to God. Keep me alive no matter what color you are. I spit politics like no, just can't block. I can't breathe enough, it's too far tough. Like two cosmic in the impact checklist. I ain't interested in political correctness. Pale faces, rappers, the Redskins, reckless. Rip strands, fool my roots, and rape our heritage. Immigrants in our home, morally good and heroin. No employment for our homeless. Veterans overseas, turning refugees into terrorists. Most terrifying is I love being American. Dance. Politics, ha! Politics. Hey, that's politics. Hey, come on, politics. Now everybody just clap, clap, clap your hands. Everybody, body, clap your hands. Come on, clap, clap, clap your hands. Everybody, body, clap your hands. Impact, come on, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, body, do that dance. Rock your body now, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, body, do that dance. Impact, come on, dance, dance, do that dance. Everybody, body, do that dance. Rock your body now, dance. Dance, do that dance, everybody, buddy. Who are we? I said, I am P-A-C-T. What? I am P-A-C-T. What? I am P-A-C-T. What? I am P-A-C-T. What? If you hear the words we say it. This right here. These radio playing. All we hear is sex, drugs, money. They don't care. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I see is politics, and when the streets meet politics, it ain't safe. We all at risk. Get money, get power, get arrested for developing smarter kids. And when the street meet politics, watch the street meet politics. Making moves so we all exist. Get knowledge, get power, get justice, and flip this corruption, kid. I know you're looking for a job right now. You're living in the past right now. You're living with a brand new sight now. Change the world with the words read politics.
I wasn't born Crip, and I wasn't born blood, but when there was no hugs at home, the streets showed me love. Frankenstein made a monster. America made TV. I saw 1,000 murders before I was 3. I wasn't born a liar. I didn't know how to steal. But all your values told me I needed the riches to be real. I had Malcolm and Martin, but you shot me down. I tried to get a job and y'all said no, with a frown. I went to crowded schools with teachers who were